if you have kids right now, I want to tell you to please have a life outside of your children. Right now, and I have discussed this on my channel about helicopter parenting. My mom, who is now in her 70s, is a helicopter parent. She was and still is. And there is something to be said when you make your kids your everything and you're not open to friendships. Not saying that she's never had friends, but it didn't carry on over to later adulthood. I know my friendships have, because I cultivated them, and I purposely, even though I raised my child, who is now an adult, I could refer to her as my pocketbook because she did go everywhere, but I still hung out. I still had friends. I still purposefully was social as an introverted extrovert. I did choose to be open to friendships and to have friends to this day. I want to stress to not make your kids your all. Not saying that you ignore them, not saying that you don't supply their needs and, be there, but you also want to flow in rhythm to where you can have outside relationships outside of your children. Because as you get older, I know I do not expect this of my daughter. My daughter, as a matter of fact, she asked me, "Mommy, where are you? Where are you going? When are you going to be back?" Blah, blah. But you want to make sure that you have outside interests outside of your children. And this is what I'm dealing with now with my mom. And I love her dearly. But it is very important to cultivate those relationships outside of your kids. Because first of all, I always stress that I am a woman first. I came into this earth as one human being. I was one and done too. I was one and done also. But I just want to say, make sure that you cultivate community and friendships outside of your children, because you will get lonely as you get older. And then when your children start to have their own lives, you don't want to get resentful or get upset when they're not at your beck and call. So I think it's important to form those relationships, because I know I hear a lot of times, I've heard on TikTok and various platforms where people would say, "Oh, you know what? I don't need friends as an adult." And I even heard it on news, news, when I look at the news, the local news and whatnot, when they have different segments. And I remember one person saying, "I'm an adult. Yeah, I already have my friends. They were over, 40. And I was like, I don't need any new friends." I mean, that's all well and good, but I think it's important to really have friendship, if not friendship, community, definitely. Because you're going to get lonely and you're going to need somebody, because there are 8 billion people on this planet. And guess what? We all need each other to survive, okay? Especially in this day and age. So have those friendships, be open, and don't make your kids your all, okay?